So many videos filmed of me in Europe, but I've never actually shown you how I got there in the first place. Guys, I've gone through all my files in my hard drive from the past, and I've gotten this footage of me back in 2023 starting my trip, my journeys, rather, from Nairobi to Istanbul, then Istanbul to Geneva, which is how I got into Europe that second time and stayed because now, residency, not Schengen anymore. So, guys, watch how I, took off from JKIA all the way to, Geneva. So first of all, I got to the airport very, very early. I think it was around 5 hours to time because my flight was set to leave at a very, very odd hour. But then after that, I checked in and waited, and the flight was even delayed. I was flying Turkish Airlines, obviously, because again, my layover was in Istanbul, Turkey. And it was my first time using Turkish Airlines, and I honestly quite liked it. They delayed, of course. I think there's a problem with the weather. But then after that, everything went smoothly. I sat on a very comfortable seat all alone, which I absolutely loved. But the problem is there was someone who had a child throughout the flight, and the child cried so much. I felt so sorry for those parents, but I was also sorry for myself because I was super tired, but I couldn't even fall asleep in the plane.
Ya da önünüzdeki koltuğun altına yerleştiriniz. Elektronik cihazınızın kaybolması ya da koltuk içine düşmesi durumunda koltuğu hareket ettirmeyiniz ve kabin ekibini çağırınız. Yasa gereği uçuşlarınızda sigara, tütün.
So yeah, my flight was leaving very early in the morning, and I hadn't slept a single wink all night. So I was exhausted. I was looking forward to the food because I was also hungry, but to be honest, I didn't like this food at all. It was horrible. I only liked the apple juice that they served me, but then again, oftentimes I don't like airplane food. But it's just temporary. So it was a smooth flight altogether. The weather was nice, and it took about something close to 7 hours for us to get to Istanbul from Nairobi, which is quite long, but then again, it's still okay, to be honest. I've been in longer flights. And after a while, the pilot made the announcement that we're going to land in Istanbul, and the views were beautiful, honestly. So I will just let you watch. I'm a little luckier that the child stopped crying at some point because that baby cried for hours and hours on end, and it wasn't easy for me at all because it was a lot of noise and I hadn't slept. Oh my gosh, difficult, but I was just happy. There's a very good reason why I choose to sit by the window most times. In fact, I check in early at the airport just so I have the chance to sit by the window because I love looking outside, especially during landing time, because that way I get to see how the area I am landing at, will look. So over here, this is the skyline of Istanbul. We were just about to land, and I was excited because, again, after sitting inside a plane for hours and hours, what you want to do is just step out and use your feet for a while. I mean, of course, you can go to the bathroom in the plane, but then it's not the same. Anyway, at this point, I was just happy to see the plane go down safely because I was just ready to, be on the ground again. So my layover at this airport in Istanbul was 4 hours. That actually flew by very quickly, and I was happy about that. But to my surprise, or to my shock, unpleasant dismay, is when we got to the gates upon when it was time to get onto the plane going to Geneva. The person at the gate profiled every single African person because for some reason we didn't look like we did, in our passport pictures, including myself. So because I had my hair combed out, like in a weave that was combed out in my passport picture, and then I handed him over my ID, and it was now my natural hair, but I was traveling with cornrows. For some odd reason or some strange reason, the guy couldn't tell that it was the same person with just different hairstyles, which was very annoying, to be honest. And he did the same for this lady that you can see here, and it was worse for her because she looked completely different. She had cut her hair completely. And then it was worse for somebody else who had just worn a hijab this time but didn't have a hijab on in her documents and the likes. It was just a horrible experience, to be honest. They called people from the office to come and help identify and help differentiate if we were the same people. I've never felt so awkward in my life. But anyway, this was just me before that ordeal, somewhere looking for the gates because I was excited to just get into the plane for the second leg of my trip. Gosh, if I had known what was ahead of me, I think I would have prepared myself psychologically because it's almost embarrassing, almost too much attention for nothing when you are profiled just because your hair looks different. It doesn't make sense to me at all that someone can't tell you from your face. So as you can see, we finally boarded and we were now getting ready to take off to Geneva at this point. And honestly, it was a good flight, a nice short flight because it was about 2.5 hours to Geneva. I think it even arrived ahead of schedule, which I absolutely loved. But the problem is, I sat next to two lecturers who didn't know each other, by the way, and they just insisted on speaking to me the entire time. And the way I was so tired, I just wanted some peace and quiet, but I couldn't be rude. So I kept answering them and the likes. But that conversation was totally unnecessary, at least for me. They served us food again, which once again I didn't like. I only loved the juice because it's just juice. But yeah, this wasn't a bad flight at all. It was nice and short, and I was just happy to be headed to my destination finally.
At least allows to send a message if you want.
Yeah, although I don't know how much I can send because my phone is almost off. It's at 3%.
Without battery?
Yeah, well, it's been surviving for a while, so I was so scared.
Mais c'était rouge.
Non, c'était vert.
I was so scared of this trip.
Oui. Moi j'allais dire.
I'm so happy it's over. 16 hours.
Yeah, not very long trip. If you want to... Oh,
I think maybe. Oh,
do you have a QR code?
you really loved it there. It's so nice.
On est comme des voitures.
We never went to Bordeaux.
On est comme des immeubles.
I think for me it was just easier because Pamplona is more to the northern side, so
Non.
And there is no
Enfin, même pas.
direct link, straight road to go from here to Bordeaux.
oh,
You know, it's a little road. There is no highway
to Bordeaux from here.
to Bordeaux from here. Yeah.
So you have to go to Paris or
Yeah, from the highway is from Paris or in the west coast. But it's not straightforward, so it's there are roads, but we can drive at very fast.
So when you're going to different places around France, for example, you usually just drive? Like you go drive?
It depends. With kids, yeah, we drive because it's cheaper by car.
Cheaper.
It's